Welcome to Hollywood Secrets. In this video, we uncover the top 10 old Hollywood celebrities who were total weirdos. These stars were not just famous for their talents on screen but also for their unusual quirks and bizarre behaviors off-screen. From eccentric hobbies to strange relationships, these actors lived lives as colorful as their movies. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories from the golden age of Hollywood. Let's dive in. 1. Howard Hughes, the reclusive billionaire. Howard Hughes was one of Hollywood's most enigmatic figures. Known for directing and producing films like Hell's Angels 1930, Hughes was also a record-setting aviator. However, his personal life was far from glamorous. He became obsessed with germs and was known to wear tissue boxes on his feet to avoid contamination. He locked himself in dark hotel rooms for months, surrounded by jars of urine, terrified of catching infections. His mental health deteriorated, and he disappeared from public life entirely, spending his last years as a complete recluse. 2. Marlon Brando, the eccentric genius. Marlon Brando, an acting legend, is remembered for masterpieces like A Streetcar Named Desire and The Godfather. However, his off-screen persona was filled with bizarre antics. Brando had a pet raccoon named Russell and an obsession with exotic animals. He even kept a menagerie at his home. He often wore disguises in public to avoid fans and was known for gaining and losing extreme amounts of weight for no apparent reason. Brando was also infamous for bizarre pranks on film sets, such as refusing to say his lines or demanding to be filmed with ice buckets on his head. 3. Tallulah Bankhead, the wild child. Tallulah Bankhead was as famous for her scandalous behavior as for her acting. Known for movies like Lifeboat 1944, she was openly bisexual in an era when it was considered taboo. She loved shocking people, often saying outrageous things like, "Only good girls keep diaries, bad girls don't have time." She was known for heavy drinking, chain-smoking, and bizarre habits, such as sleeping naked with all her pets in bed and driving around with no undergarments. Her wild lifestyle earned her both admiration and scandal throughout her career. 4. Salvador Dalí, the surrealist in Hollywood. Though primarily known as a surrealist painter, Salvador Dalí dabbled in Hollywood, working with Disney on the experimental film Destino. Dalí's eccentricity was legendary. He traveled with a pet ocelot named Babu, carried a walking stick filled with perfume, and wore extravagant capes. Dalí's strangeness was not just an act. He reportedly gave guests in his hotel rooms unsettling gifts like insects and demanded his paintings be paid for in gold coins, which he hoarded in secret vaults. 5. Bela Lugosi, the man who lived as Dracula. Bela Lugosi was forever tied to his iconic role as Dracula, but his personal life was equally strange. Lugosi reportedly wore his Dracula cape off-screen and insisted on being buried in it. He became obsessed with his image as the vampire and struggled to find work outside of horror films. Lugosi was also a heavy morphine addict, which fueled his eccentric behavior. Friends and colleagues often found him speaking in a slow, theatrical manner as if he were still performing Dracula. 6. Dennis Hopper, the Hollywood rebel. Dennis Hopper's legacy includes directing and starring in Easy Rider, but his off-screen behavior was even wilder than the film. Hopper was known for indulging in massive drug binges and hosting bizarre parties filled with strange art, drugs, and unorthodox guests. In one of his strangest moments, he reportedly kept a loaded gun on his nightstand and married a woman on a dare, only to divorce her 8 days later. Hopper's erratic behavior made him both admired and feared in the industry. 7. Mae West, the queen of risque comedy. Mae West was known for her sexually charged humor and commanding presence, but she lived an unusual life even off-screen. She reportedly kept a life-size wax figure of herself in her home and spoke to it regularly. West was also known to sleep in a room draped entirely in white silk to preserve her aura. Her relationships were equally unconventional. West allegedly lived with her much younger personal trainer for decades and held seances to contact the spirits of historical figures. 8. Montgomery Clift, the tortured soul. Montgomery Clift, known for his roles in A Place in the Sun and From Here to Eternity, was as emotionally complex as the characters he portrayed. After a severe car accident left him disfigured, Clift's behavior became increasingly erratic. He developed severe addictions to drugs and alcohol and was known to wander around Los Angeles late at night, talking to himself. His friends described him as both brilliant and tragically self-destructive, often referring to his later years as the longest suicide in Hollywood history. 9. Charlie Chaplin, the control freak. Charlie Chaplin was one of the biggest stars of the silent era, but his personal life was riddled with strange behavior. Chaplin was known to be a perfectionist on set, often demanding hundreds of takes for a single scene. Off-screen, he had an obsession with much younger women and married several teenagers throughout his life. Chaplin also feared being poisoned, so he had food tasters test his meals. His controlling nature alienated many people in his life, but it also contributed to his lasting legacy in cinema. 10. Gloria Swanson, the spiritualist diva. Gloria Swanson, star of Sunset Boulevard, was deeply involved in spiritualism. She believed in the power of crystals, astrology, and mystical diets, once claiming that sunbathing naked gave her special energy. Swanson also believed she could communicate with animals telepathically and insisted that her pets were spiritually connected to her. At one point, she tried to launch a spiritual health company, selling bizarre herbal products that claimed to cure nearly any ailment. Thanks for watching. These celebrities might have been total weirdos, but their unique personalities made Hollywood's golden age all the more interesting. Which star's eccentricity surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insider Hollywood secrets. Welcome to Hollywood Secrets. In this video, we uncover the top 10 old Hollywood celebrities who were total weirdos. These stars were not just famous for their talents on screen but also for their unusual quirks and bizarre behaviors off-screen. From eccentric hobbies to strange relationships, these actors lived lives as colorful as their movies. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories from the golden age of Hollywood. Let's dive in. 1. Howard Hughes, the reclusive billionaire. Howard Hughes was one of Hollywood's most enigmatic figures. Known for directing and producing films like Hell's Angels 1930, Hughes was also a record-setting aviator. However, his personal life was far from glamorous. He became obsessed with germs and was known to wear tissue boxes on his feet to avoid contamination. He locked himself in dark hotel rooms for months, surrounded by jars of urine, terrified of catching infections. His mental health deteriorated, and he disappeared from public life entirely, spending his last years as a complete recluse. 2.